Was Abraha in the Mecca that we know today, or was he in a different Mecca? Did he go to a different Kaaba? We know there were multiple Kaabas. We know there were different places that were Meccas. So are we talking about the same place that we know? Because we are aware that Abraha comes from much earlier than Mecca is known to exist. Now, note what it says here in the Encyclopedia of Islam: the accounts of the campaign of Abraha, which have been elaborated with legendary features, also suggest the existence and worship of the Kaaba in the 6th century, but tell us nothing of its appearance or equipment. So while we do have records of Abraha, we have very little information about this Kaaba that he attacked, supposedly. Abraha, also spelled Abreha, he flourished during the 6th century AD. He was Ethiopian Christian viceroy of Sabah, Yemen, southern Arabia. He was a devout Christian, and he is said to have built a great church at Sanna called Al-Qulais, which is ecclesia, to compete with the Kaaba at Mecca. If you look here at Google Maps, this is Sanna here, this is Al-Mahabisha, this is Marib, where he had his capital. So this is the capital of Yemen today, Sanna, and this is apparently where that place was built. This is Marib. We're looking at a distance of approximately 86 kilometers. Now, he repaired the principal irrigation dam at the Sabaean capital of Marib. Abraha is famous, however, for the supposed military expedition that he led northwards against the city of Mecca in the same year as Muhammad's birth, about 570. Though it was supported by elephants, the expedition failed, and Muslims believe that Mecca escaped capture only through a miracle. Abraha's rule ended in 575 when the Persian Sasanians invaded the region and brought the Sabaean kingdom to an end. Interestingly, outside of later Islamic tradition, there is no mention of Abraha's expedition, including from Abraha's own inscriptions. His most famous activity, he leaves no record of it. There is no record of it outside of the Islamic tradition. Again, this is an anomaly. This is a question mark. Now, African war elephants had not been used in the region for over 600 years. You can look all of this up in John M. Kessler's War Elephants. It's in my archive. Please go have a look. Links are found everywhere on my videos to my archives and so on. Look around, you'll find it easily. Now, it is also difficult to explain how Abraha would have got hold of African war elephants in Arabia. Furthermore, Quran 105 apparently appears to be appealing to traditions from the book of Maccabees and not referencing any expedition on Abraha's part. So another piece of information that says, look, they may have lifted this idea from another source, and of course Islam is a complete mess. We don't really know what's going on, do we? That's why we're trying to figure it out. Abraha's invasion and Muhammad's birth are often dated to a year equivalent to 570. The Islamic commentators record no unanimous dates. They do not have an agreement on this matter. Qurtubi, for instance, is representative in presenting the sources that equate the year of the elephant with that of Muhammad's birth, as well as those that place Abraha's attack 23 to 40 years before Muhammad's birth. So, even within the Islamic sources, there is no consensus on the date of the attack. Again, these are the Islamic sources that cannot seem to come to an agreement. But of course, they've all decided, well, 570 sounds good to us. Off they ran, and everyone else ran with that. But when you look at their own sources, actually, they don't have any sort of consensus. Western scholars have long questioned the accuracy and historical reliability of these chronologies, and those of previous generations, such as Noldecker, Lamens, and Blacher, pointed out the inconsistencies within the early Arabic sources and the contradictions between them, and evidence from extra-Islamic traditions. Scholarship has long known for more than a century that this story does not hold water. Let's talk about this white elephant. So what year did this happen again? As we say, we don't know. It could have been 40 years prior to 570. According to some of the histories, when the people of Mecca had fled the city, seeing the approach of Abraha's army, the lead elephant, named Mahmud, stopped and kneeled down, refusing to go further. Mahmud is a contraction of Muhammad. It's a diminutive of the name Muhammad, and the lead elephant was supposedly called Muhammad or Mahmud, and when it got close to Mecca, it refused to go further because you figure it out. The rest of the elephants would not go on without the leader, and so the whole formation came to a halt. Mahmud was beaten and cajoled, but would not take one more step towards Mecca. True story. True story. Al-Waqidi gives a tradition that there were 13 elephants with the army, besides this famous one called Mahmud, and that the latter was the only one that escaped death from the shower of stones. But this would seem to oppose the tradition that has generally come to be on the subject. Waqidi adds that Abraha sent to Abyssinia for the famous elephant Mahmud expressly to join his expedition. This is from the Life of Muhammad, Volume 1 by William Moore. This is one of the biographies of Muhammad, one of his Gospels, the Sirah. The lead elephant, a white elephant, known as Mahmud. Look here, MHMWD, Muhammad, is said to have stopped at the boundary around Mecca and refused to enter, so Muhammad wouldn't go and attack Muhammad. Archaeological discoveries in South Arabia suggest that the year of the elephant may have been 569 or 568, as the Sasanian Empire overthrew the Aksumite-affiliated rulers in Yemen, roughly 570. According to Muhammad Asad, this surah does not describe birds literally carrying small rocks. Referencing al-Zamakhshari and Fakhr al-Din al-Razi, he states, the words used, namely the stones of Sijil, denote a writing, something that has been decreed by Allah. He further explains that this decree by Allah was a very sudden epidemic outbreak, which, according to Ibn Ishaq, caused fever, hasba, and smallpox, Judari. This, Asad concludes, points to the fact that the stone-hard blows of chastisement preordained were a sudden, virulent epidemic, due to the fact that the word for fever, hasba, primarily means pelting or smiting with stones in the famous Arabic dictionary Al-Qamus by Firuzabadi. In a Shia hadith in Al-Kafi Volume 1, Imam Ali was born in the 30th year of the elephant and died in AH 40. Some scholars have placed the year of the elephant 1 or 2 decades earlier than 570, with a tradition attributed to Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri in the works of Abd al-Razak al-Sanani, placing it before the birth of Muhammad's father. Both in the Sunni and Shia traditions, they cannot decide when the year of the elephant happened.